A very good afternoon. It is 1 p.m. here in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, and this is the Ambassador, where we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. I am your Ambassador Susan Nganga. To our story, in Nigeria, a groundbreaking pageant is redefining what beauty means, shifting the spotlight to inclusion, representation, and advocacy. Held in Lagos, the Albinism Advocacy Pageant challenges long-held stereotypes and empowers a community that has been faced with years of stigma. It's a powerful statement that beauty has no single definition. Let's look at the full report.
In Lagos, the Albinism Advocacy Pageant is challenging Nigeria's traditional beauty standards and shining a light on inclusion.
When people think of pageantry, they think of people who look a certain way. But for us, right, we're flipping the script and using pageantry to showcase the talent of people with albinism and also advocate for them.
The event celebrates the strength and resilience of people with albinism, many of whom face deep-rooted stigma, myths, and social exclusion.
Persons with albinism have various challenges, right? I mean, from the sun to the low vision, and a lot of persons with albinism don't even know how to go about this. And even to the general society, the myth, the bullying, the stereotyping, and all that.
Anita Chidiebube, the newly crowned queen, says she's using her title to promote awareness and change perceptions.
My first priority is to create an engaging content that will bring the strength and show the strength and impacts, positive impacts of persons with albinism in our society.
With around 2 million Nigerians living with albinism, advocates says it's time for real change. And by flipping the script on pageantry, this event is pushing the conversation forward, one crown at a time. Elvis Muyodi, GBS News.
Well, indeed, a step in the right direction. Now to an update. The widow of prominent right-wing activist Charles Kirk has pledged to carry on her husband's work after authorities in the United States announced his alleged assassin had finally been captured. Investigators had appeared to be making slow progress in the hunt for whoever killed Donald Trump's close ally until they released security camera images of a young man on Friday. Utah Governor Spencer Cox told a news conference identified the suspect as Tyler Robinson, who is 22 years old, who had reportedly been confronted by his father over the pictures and then turned in. The 31-year-old clerk was hit by a single bullet while addressing a large crowd at Utah Valley University in the town of Orem on Wednesday, the 10th of September.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him.
The governor of Utah announces that Tyler Robinson has been taken into police custody, adding the intense multi-agency manhunt, which included the release of footage of the man who is reportedly confessed to family members to the killing, as well as a reward of up to $100,000.
On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident.
The motive for the killing is still unknown.
The motive for the killing is still unknown, though a family member told investigators that Robinson expressed his hate for Charlie Kirk during a family dinner. A text message to Robinson's roommate revealed the shooting was carefully prepared over a period of weeks.
Forensic evidence has already been evaluated at FBI laboratories in Quantico and state and local authorities here. We will continue to process evidence as we see it, as we collect it, and we will continue to deliver it to Governor Cox and his team.
With a high degree of certainty, we have him.
U.S. President Donald Trump was the first to announce the arrest in early morning TV interview. Some media held off reporting the president's words and waited for confirmation elsewhere. Shortly after the shooting, The president blamed it on what he called the radical left, an attribution echoed by conservative circles, intensifying the already wide political division within the United States. The governor of Utah had this warning.
We can return violence with violence. We can return hate with hate. And that's the problem with political violence, is it metastasizes. Because we can always point the finger at the other side. And at some point, we have to find an off-ramp, or it's going to get much, much worse.
Tyler Robinson is being held at the police station where he was booked. The Utah law, it will be 3 days before the charging documents are formally filed. Reporting for GBS TV, I'm Paul M. Mine.
And now to another update on the same report. The suspect in the fatal shooting of conservative activist Charles Clark is refusing to cooperate with investigators. Utah Governor Spencer Cox confirmed the development, while President Donald Trump has blamed the political left and says federal investigations are already underway. Let's take a listen.
Governor Cox confirmed that Robinson had refused to speak with law enforcement, complicating the effort to determine motive.
He does come from a conservative family, but his ideology was very different than his family, and so that's part of it. We do know that the roommate that we had originally talked about, we can confirm that roommate is a boyfriend who is transitioning from male to female, so we know that piece. I will say that person has been very cooperative with authorities, and we have additional evidence, forensic evidence, that has been processed. The suspect has not been cooperating so far, and so we're getting all of this information from family members, again, people around the suspect, and then the forensic information that we have.
Early findings suggest the suspect may have held radical leftist views and had a history of online extremism. President Donald Trump away, saying people on the radical left are under major investigation. He described the shooting as a political execution and blamed left-wing agitators for fueling violence against conservatives.
I'll be going on early Sunday morning. We're going to Arizona, taking some people with us on Air Force One. Maybe you people are going to be with us, I don't know, but we're going to be going Saturday early on Sunday morning. Well, the problem is on the left. If you look at the problem is on the left. It's not on the right, like some people like to say on the right. The problem we have is on the left. And when you look at the agitators, you look at the scum that speaks so badly of our country, the American flag burnings all over the place, that's the left, that's not the right.
Trump also suggested his administration is already using federal resources to investigate political adversaries, though no specific individual or group have been named, as formal charges are expected on Tuesday. Reporting for GBS TV, I'm Ibrahim Said.
And that reports take us to a very fast break here at the Ambassador. We'll be right back after a short break. Stay tuned.
You'll realize that the way a man thinks, so they behave.
Interesting.
Actually, I saw a research saying that the population in Kenya, about 70% are below 35. Leadership should be light. It should be that which helps people to see and solve their problems. Yes. I believe a good leader is not a leader that brings excuses at the table. Is a leader that says, okay, we have this problem. How do we solve it?
How do you strike that balance by ensuring these leaders can be able to call shots, but their shots are justified? No one is going to complain. In the sense of, if this person A is making decisions, even if I'm not around, I'll agree to what they say.
Okay.
So today we're diving into a topic that has become rather popular right here in Kenya, the K-pop
culture. I would say K-pop invokes creativity, like mega creativity. I have friends who are creative and you'll see, you've done that? And they're like, yeah. And I told me that K-pop girls, K-pop stan girls, who's like, the men you stan look like women, and you aim to get a man that looks like that. So if you fail to find a man like that, well, obviously you're in Kenya, you're not going to find a pretty man.
For me, it's like I have two personalities at this point. I have my normal life and I have my army life. Because when I get into my army life, it's just like a whole new world. A community full of people who don't judge, people who accept you.
Learning Korean from a Kenyan can sometimes mess you up. They pronounce words differently, and when you speak to a native, it's like, hold up, what did you say?
I've never met like a K-pop fan. I don't know why. What am I? No, not when people want to like express themselves like, I'm a K-pop fan. Unless you see them like wearing like a branded t-shirt or a branded hoodie, then you realize that they're K-pop fan.
The main campaign of BTS is loving yourself, right? And K-pop has a lot of drawbacks. Just like anything else, too much of something is poisonous, yeah? And one of the drawbacks is it comes with beauty, because they have these absurd beauty standards. Well, BTS passed this message that you're supposed to love yourself, embrace yourself. You're just perfect the way you are. You don't have to eat less to be beautiful. You're beautiful from the inside, right? Getting to BTS, it's hard to come out.
Okay.
Where does today come before yesterday? Kumbuka majibu fupi pale kwa SMS line at 21144.
Art should be a mirror. It should mirror things that people are going through, both the ones that are spoken and the unspoken.
What's the difference between film and theater?
Film and theater.
If you had to write an entire story without either action or dialogue, which will you choose?
What's in it between film and theater? So film and theater is a very strong.
How do you think art is related to film and theater?
Where you go, I'll go. Where you stay, I stay. Where you move, I move. I will follow you.
Welcome to our Bible story.
Are you ready? Great! Today we are going to learn about a story about a widow of Zarephath. And he said unto him, Thou hast answered right. This do, and thou shalt live.
Before I conclude, I would like us to read and see what is the will of the Father towards each and every one of us. Children, as you listen to that story, what have you been able to learn? And remember, this is Kids Mind, the Bible story. And as usual, this is where we learn, we laugh, and we explore.
Everywhere, GBS. Welcome back to the bulletin. And now, the United Nations Security Council is holding an emergency session after Poland reported multiple Russian drones violating its airspace in what officials describe as the most serious breach since the start of the Ukraine war. Here are the details.
While briefing the Council, UN political chief Rosemary DiCarlo said that several drones had penetrated deep into Poland's territory, marking the first such large-scale violation of a NATO member's airspace. She cited Ukrainian President Zelensky's account that Russia had launched more than 400 drones and 40 missiles overnight between September 9th and 10th, striking 15 regions and causing civilian casualties, including at least one death. The United States envoy Dorothy Shea voiced firm support for Warsaw, stressing that Washington was consulting with its NATO allies under Article 4 of the North Atlantic Treaty. She pledged that the alliance will defend every inch of NATO territory.
This is not the first time that drones have been detected in neighboring countries during the full-scale war in Ukraine. But it is the first time that multiple drones have flown so deep into a neighboring country's airspace. This alarming incident took place against the backdrop of continued large-scale Russian missile and drone attacks on Ukraine. According to President Zelensky, during the night of 9 to 10 September, Russia launched 415 drones and over 40 cruise and ballistic missiles against 15 regions of Ukraine, resulting in civilian casualties, including at least one death.
Russia, however, rejected the accusations. Ambassador Vasily Nebinza insisted the drones used had a maximum range of 700 kilometers, making it impossible for them to reach Polish territory. He accused European leaders of rushing to conclusions without official verification. Poland's Secretary of State Marcin Bosaki countered by calling the incident deliberate, saying Russia's denials amounted to deflection. He argued that Moscow was once again using drones against civilians and warned that Poland's sovereignty had been violated on an unprecedented scale.
The United States stands by our NATO allies in the face of these alarming airspace violations. The United States is consulting with Poland and our other NATO allies under Article 4 of the North Atlantic Treaty. And rest assured, we will defend every inch of NATO territory.
Poland has previously intercepted stray drones near its borders, but officials say that this is the first time since the 2022 invasion that its territorial integrity has been compromised to such an extent. The episode has deepened regional fears of escalation beyond Ukraine. NATO allies are expected to deliberate on further steps to safeguard their airspace. Ukrainian officials have warned that Russia may test the resolve of the international community with even more aggressive actions, raising concerns that future violations could extend deeper into Europe. Molly and Rono for GBS News.
We'll keep him updated on that report as it develops. Now to developing news in Nepal. Interim Nepalese Prime Minister Sulisha Karki called for calm and urged her compatriots to get together to rebuild the country after violent protests against corruption killed at least 72 people and injured hundreds more. In her first public remarks since becoming the Himalayas nation's interim Prime Minister, Sulisha Karki said on Sunday that the country must listen to its young citizens who have expressed their expectation on the new governor. Let's take a listen.
Kathmandu, the capital of Nepal, is normally a city of noise and commerce where God surveyed the jammed traffic from brightly lit roadside temples. On Thursday, soon after the clashes between the security forces and the protesters claimed at least 37 lives and ripped the institutional heart out of the city, much of Kathmandu was swaddled in suspense and silence. Nepal is now a country without a functioning government. No one seems to know where the president is. The prime minister has resigned. The army is talking with the young protesters who are known as the Gen Z and have proposed to Sheila Karki, a former chief justice, to step in as the interim leader of the country. They say that she could be sworn in today, but it is unclear on who has the legitimate power to appoint her and what kind of government she could even assemble.
A lot of people were expressed the sentiment that yes, perhaps this needed to happen. You know, perhaps there needed to be an extreme kind of protest that would
We'll keep him updated on that story as it develops. Now to other developing stories. South Korea is demanding answers from Washington after hundreds of its citizens were detained in a U.S. immigration raid at Hyundai LG battery plant construction site in Georgia. The incident has strained diplomatic ties with Seoul, probing possible human rights violation. Let's take a listen to the full reports. Now to other developing news. Kenya's Perez Jepchirchir claimed gold in a dramatic sprint finish at the women's marathon in Tokyo, edging out Ethiopia's Stinks asset by just 2 seconds, with a time of 2 minutes 24 seconds and 43 microseconds. Despite an early start to avoid the heat, runners faced tough, humid conditions as they battled through 41 kilometers. Asat and Jepchirchir entered the stadium neck and neck, but the Kenyan found a final burst of speed to repeat her Olympic triumph from 2021. Uruguay's Julia took bronze in earning her country the first ever marathon medal at the World Championships.
Who strikes here? Less than 400 meters. Onto the track. Jepchirchir leading out Tigst Assefa. Less than a meter now between them.
But Jepchirchir for Kenya grits her teeth and moves past Assefa, who hasn't yet had a response. Jepchirchir, the Olympic champion from Tokyo 2021, is going to dominate once again and take the headlines and gold. The world champion is Perez Jepchirchir. Ethiopia takes second with Tigst Assefa. When it comes to major championship marathons in Tokyo, it's Perez Jepchirchir again.
With 100 meters to go, Jepchirchir gritted her teeth and the former Olympic champion found that final push.
And that sports news brings us to the end of our bulletin here at The Ambassador, 1 p.m. on GBS TV Africa. Stay with us for continuous updates throughout the day. And be sure to join me every Monday and Tuesday as we continue to debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. Thank you for your time and company. Until next time, goodbye.
Everywhere, GBS.